Chapter 32 Beware of the Rats. The candlelight on Midge's tray revealed Gregory, limping toward her, the thick rope tied around his ankle, his hand outstretched. You, Gregory presumes, have brought food for the jailer. Gore, said Midge. She took a step back. Give it here, said Gregory, and he took the tray from Midge and sat down on an overturned kettle that had rolled free from the tower. He balanced the tray on his knees and stared at the covered plate. Gregory assumes that today, again, there is no soup. Huh? Said Midge. Soup, shouted Gregory. Illegal, shouted Midge back. Most foolish, muttered Gregory as he lifted the cover off the plate. Too foolish to be born a world without soup. He picked up a drumstick and put the whole of it in his mouth and chewed and swallowed. Here, said Midge, staring at him, you forgot the bones. Not forgotten, chewed. Gore, said Midge, staring at Gregory with respect. You eat the bones? You are ferocious. Gregory ate another piece of chicken, wing, bone, and all, and then another. Midge watched him admiringly. Someday, she said, moved suddenly to tell the man her deepest wish, I will be a princess. At this pronouncement, Chiaroscuro, who was still at Midge's side, did a small, deliberate jig of joy. In the light of the one candle, his dancing shadow was large and fearsome indeed. Gregory sees you, Gregory said to the rat's shadow. Roscuro ceased his dance. He moved to hide beneath Midge's skirt. Eh? Said Midge. What's that? Nothing, said Gregory. So you aim to be a princess? Well, everyone has to have a foolish dream. Gregory, for instance, dreams of a world where soup is legal. And that rat, Gregory sure has some foolish dream, too. If only you knew, whispered Roscuro. What? Shouted Midge. Gregory said nothing more. Instead, he reached into his pocket and then held his napkin up to his face and sneezed into it. Once, twice, 3 times. Bless you, shouted Midge. Bless you, bless you. Back to the world of light, Gregory whispered, and he balled the napkin up and placed it on the tray. Gregory is done, he said, and he held the tray out to Midge. Done, are you? Then the tray goes back upstairs. Cook says it must. You take the tray down to the deep downs, you wait for the old man to eat, and you bring the tray up and back. Them is my instructions. Did they instruct you to beware of the rats? The what? The rats. What about 'em? Beware of them, shouted Gregory. Right, said Midge. Beware of the rats. Roscuro, hidden under Midge's skirt, rubbed his front paws together. Warn her all you like, old man, he whispered. My hour has arrived. The time is now, and your rope must break. No nibbling this time. Rather a serious chew will break that into 2. Yes, it's all coming clear. Revenge is at hand. Chapter 33. So far, we know that Midge was probably not told about the rats in the dungeon, but she is trying very hard to remember her directions, which we know she is not good at doing. And she still has this dream of being a princess, and as usual, everyone around her is telling her that that's a foolish dream. It's not something that she should be dreaming of. And now we're going to find out how Roscuro gets his revenge. Chapter 33. A Rat Who Knows Her Name. Midge had climbed the dungeon stairs and was preparing to open the door to the kitchen when the rat spoke to her. May I detain you for a moment? Midge looked to her left and then to her right. Down here, said Roscuro. Midge looked at the floor. Gore, she said, but you're a rat, ain't you? And didn't the old man just warn me of such? Beware of rats, he said. She held up her tray higher so that the light from the candle shone directly on Roscuro, and the golden spoon on his head, and the blood-red rag around his neck. There's no need to panic, none at all, said Roscuro. As he talked, he reached behind his back using the handle. He raised the spoon off of his head, much in the manner of a man lifting his hat to a lady. Gore, said Midge, a rat with manners. Yes, said Roscuro, how do you do? My papa had some cloth much like yours, Mr. Rat, said Midge. Red like that, he traded me for it. Ah, said Roscuro. He smiled a large knowing smile. Ah, did he really? It's a terrible story, a tragic story. Reader, if you will pardon me, we must pause for a moment to consider the great and unusual thing. A preposterous thing. That great unusual thing is, Roscuro's voice was pitched perfectly to make its way through the treacherous path of Midge's broken down cauliflowered ears. That is to say, Midgery Sow heard perfect and true every word that the rat uttered. You have known your share of tragedy, said Roscuro to Midge. Perhaps it is time for you to make the acquaintance of triumph and glory. Triumph, said Midge. Glory? Allow me to introduce myself. I am Chiaroscuro. Friends call me Roscuro. And your name is Midgery Sow. And it is true, is it not, that most people simply call you Midge? Ain't that the thing? A rat who knows my name. Miss Midgery, my dear, I do not want to appear too forward, so early in our acquaintance, but may I inquire that you have some aspirations? Certain aspirations, one might say? What do you mean aspirations? Shouted Midge. Miss Midgery, there's no need to shout, none at all, as you can hear me, so can I hear you. We are two people perfectly suited to each other. Roscuro smiled again, displaying a mouth full of yellow, sharp teeth. Aspirations, my dear, are those things that you would like to make as a serving girl. You would like to become a princess. Gore, said Midge, a princess is exactly what I want to be. There is, my dear, a way to make that happen. I believe that there is a way to make your dream come true. You mean I could be the Princess P? Yes, your highness, said Roscuro, and he swept the spoon off his head and bowed deeply at the waist. Yes, your most royal Princess P. Course, said Midge. May I tell you my plan? May I illustrate for you how we can make your dream of becoming a princess a reality? Yes, said Midge, yes. It begins, says Roscuro, with yours truly and the chewing of a rope. Midge held the tray with one small candle burning bright, and she listened as the rat went on, speaking directly to the wish in her heart. So passionately did he speak, and so intently, that the servant girl listened and did not notice as the napkin on her tray moved. Nor did they hear the small mouse-like noises of disbelief and outrage that issued from the napkin as Roscuro went on, unfolding step by step his diabolical plan to bring Princess Peach into the darkness of dungeon. The end. So my question to you is, who do you think would fit under that napkin that Gregory was once holding in his hand, that would be alarmed and upset by the idea of the princess going into the dungeon? And if you say you think it is probably Despero, I'm going to say you are probably right. And we have just finished the third book, and we have moved on to the fourth book, Recalled to the Light. And we will find out in the next reading who is being recalled to the light. See you guys later.